Hello, my name is Andy and I am the Village Idiot. I'm armed with a car and a GoPro and an unhealthy amount of time on my hands. I'm using that time to attempt to visit every civil parish in England. You're watching the Rutland series. Rutland is the smallest county in the East Midlands and has some 57 parishes to its name. Without further ado, let's get walking around one of them. Welcome back to Rutland, everybody. It's the first time I've been here since the mega trip. I'm excited to be back. Now, this is the first one in hopefully what will be a run of 5 in this county that you'll be seeing over the next few weeks. This is a nice, straight, linear route. I say nice and straight because there isn't really much here apart from a church and maybe a couple of other landmarks. So let's go and see them. This is the parish of Thistleton. Here's my disclaimer for people who may be watching me for the first time. I say things as I would in my native accent and dialect. As a result, I may not pronounce things in the same way as the locals do. Remember, I'm a visitor. It's impossible to know everything. Leave me a comment, spin me a like and bash that subscribe button. Let's get to today's parish video. For parish number 2 in Rutland, we have the county's most northerly village, a tiny settlement called Thistleton. There's no great mystery to the name of this one. Thistleton means farm or settlement, which is thistly, a reference to the common flowering plant with the sharp leaves, which often finds its way into my legs whilst walking around. Thankfully, on this route there were no thistles. Instead, I was to find a beautiful little village, linear in nature, lined with stone cottages. To the north of the village there's been extensive mining for ironstone, a stone that has featured very prominently in the building of many churches and other buildings in the area for centuries. I split this route up into 3 distinct sections, one either side of St Nicholas's Church, which sits ideally in the middle of the village. That's quite easily the biggest and best landmark in Thistleton, but there's also a local business close by that might interest you if you're particularly green-fingered. There's no local shop or post office, nor is there a school or a chapel or even a village hall, but what this one lacks in amenities it makes up for with some more of that rural charm that we've come to expect from the East Midlands. On the very edge of the village though, there's perhaps one of the most curious locations ever thought of for a sporting event. Mind you, the event in question was more than a little bit illegal. Stick with me, all will be revealed. We begin on Main Street at its western end. Thistleton is effectively just one main road which runs between South Witham in Lincolnshire and Market Overton in Rutland. Many of the village's buildings are stone-walled and thatched. A lot of them are listed buildings, including the old rectory and the Church of St Nicholas, whose tall tower we're making our way towards. The road is a gentle slope, but it feels practically flat from end to end. Thistleton is well known to local ramblers because it stands on the Viking Way long-distance footpath, which we've encountered a few times before. Oakham, of course, is at the southernmost extent of it. Landmarks are few and far between. This little pumping station was just about the best I could do at this end of the village because there's no school or village hall, and really, aside from a farmyard, this eastern end is all about an abundance of picturesque cottages. However, that's all about to change, thanks to the church. So the house you saw in that last shot is called Churchview Cottage, quite an apt name when you consider that the church is directly over the road. Now this is really Thistleton's only major landmark when you think about it. So let's go in there and have a look, shall we? there's the church tower, as you can see, with the clock that is displaying the right time. It's 7:20 in the morning, so it's nice and quiet out here in Rutland this morning, apart from the traffic on the road. It's quite a busy road, actually. Let's go and check this out. Although the church is of medieval origin, only the 14th century three-stage tower, complete with gargoyles, remains from that period. The rest was rebuilt in the late 18th century by the Brudenell family in a 14th century style. It's seen some more recent restoration funding too, evidenced by this plaque from the Heritage Lottery Fund, which you can find on the porch. Most of the internal fittings, including the font and the organ, are relatively modern. The church's standout feature is by far its chancel. The whole structure is a memorial to the family of the Reverend John Henry Fludyer, the 4th Fludyer Baronet. Inside there's a brass tablet to William Towell, who was a parish clerk and former schoolmaster at the time when Thistleton still had its school. There's one bell in the tower which was cast by George Hadley of Nottingham in 1793, and its clock on the tower was added in 1887. The church has a modest churchyard with a few graves, most of them Victorian, with a few modern ones here and there. Okay, so right outside the church you've got a bus stop, and it's the 184 that serves Thistleton. And you see Stocken, Great Castleton, Stamford, and there is the timetable. And up above, this is quite nice, the bus stop has the Rutland County Council logo on it. I don't think we saw that in Stratton. If we did, I can't remember, it was quite a while ago. So this is effectively the village centre then. You've got the bus stop there, you've got the church over there, and you've also got a little post box as well. I very much doubt there's a post office anywhere in this village, or a shop, but you never know. I've still got a few more paces to go. There could be something surprising still to come. It's not far to the end of the village from here. We're just going to carry on walking until civilization basically stops, and then I shall turn around and head back to the car. It's a very, very small place. Well, there may not be a shop or a post office, but there is a business here which will interest the keen gardeners out there. That would be a herb nursery. It's a small family-run nursery which has occupied this same site for over 40 years, having begun in 1976. It specialises in herbs, wildflowers, garden plants and pelargoniums, which are sold direct to gardeners, 95% of which are grown on site. On the wall outside the nursery is the village's defib machine. After the nursery though, Thistleton starts to become less and less clustered and more sporadically laid out. As you approach the end of the village, all these stone houses start to disappear and give way to some slightly more modern buildings as Main Street becomes Witham Road. If you were to follow the road out of the village, you'd eventually cross the border into Lincolnshire and end up in the village of South Witham. It's not a bad little place, but it's oh so very small. Well, it's definitely a bit more leafy at this eastern end of Thistleton. There's more tree cover, more shade, shelter from the sun I suppose, but it's not too warm at the moment, so it's okay. It's actually okay. All I've got to do is walk back to the car from here, and so if there's anything else to catch which I find of interest, it's going in today's rest off section, and guess what? That's coming at you right now. Now for today's special section, take a look at this map. This shows where Rutland, Leicestershire and Lincolnshire all meet, an area known as Thistleton Gap. That spot has a claim to fame, as it was where a boxing match took place on the 28th of September 1811. It attracted a massive crowd, reportedly some 20,000 people. It was a prize fight between English bare-knuckle boxer Tom Cribb and American counterpart Tom Molyneux. It was a rematch for the heavyweight championship of England. The match was a matter of national pride, and the names of both of these men were famous throughout the land. The reason it was fought here, though, was because the fight was actually illegal. Had the police arrived to halt it, the boxers and the crowd could easily escape across the county boundaries. The match itself was won by Cribb, knocking out Molyneux in the 11th round. The original match a year before had ended in exhaustion for both men after a grueling 33 rounds with accusations of cheating. As we leave Thistleton behind, one thing you need to know about not just this village but the whole area in general is that it was important for ironstone mining. In the next episode, I'll take you around one of the places where it was once mined. I'll see you there next week, folks. Bye for now. Thanks for watching this video, folks. Don't forget to like this episode if you haven't already. It really makes a difference with YouTube. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, and give us a share too if you've got friends who'd like it. You can find all the links to my social media accounts below, as well as my Buy Me a Coffee page where you can donate to the channel. Also, if you've enjoyed this episode, have a look at some more videos in this series. Until next time, I've been Andy, also known as the Village Idiot, and I'm out.